Booty holes. Booty holes.
Stop!
I'm sorry.
Stop, please. God damn.
Welcome back to our review of Gen V Season 2 spoiler filled review of Episode 1 and 3. Yes, booty holes. Anyway, yeah, I but yes, we're coming back from the big cliffhanger of Gen V Season 1. And now we have the team, or I guess you would call it team, Marie, Emma, you also have Andre, and all of them all locked up. And I forgot the name of the prison.
Amoira, I think,
Moira,
something like that.
Yeah, Moira or something like that is the concentration facility that they've been locking up over the summer. And we're following up, and some characters have escaped, and some of them didn't make it. And we want to talk about that. So, yeah, what was your thoughts in terms of where we pick off from Season 2? Episode 1 of Gen V, as we're picking up from the cliffhanger from Season 1.
You know, like it's kind of crazy because I had a feeling that they were going to, much like how The Boys usually does, pick up in real time. So it's like, obviously there's been a year since Gen V came out, in between that and the last season of The Boys, and it's like, oh, they're all locked up, and by the time we get to them, it's just two of them left in there because one escaped and the other yeah. But I kind of felt like that was going to be the case. I mean, especially given what we were seeing in the trailers, I kind of felt like that was going to be the case, where it's like enough time has passed. One did get out of there and has been doing their own thing for like the last bit until the events of this first episode. So I kind of felt like that's where they were going to go, but it's just like seeing it and knowing all the details of everything that happened since we last seen these characters. It's like, okay, I'm starting to understand now. I'm starting to get this.
Yeah, and again, I thought in terms of where we felt the loss of Andre immediately, as they kind of explain in terms of the first episode, why he passed, and basically he was trying to get everybody to escape, and he basically had a seizure and just he passed out and died. But we have Marie who escaped, and she's on her own and everything, and but it basically gets caught up with Starlight about Project Odessa and the Vought realm of the world and everything, and basically that Project Odessa can be the key to defeating Homelander, because that's the whole big thing. Everyone wants to defeat Homelander.
Yeah, it's all about Homelander. They want to defeat Homelander. Butcher wants to defeat Homelander so much that he turned into a parasite. It's like, now we got something like a Godolphin that can defeat Homelander. Like, we didn't have that last season.
Right, and that's now on ice. And that's currently at the moment. But I did thought they did a really good job there, especially in the world where now some of the boys have been locked up, or are arrested. Some have escaped, and the Homelander and the Seven and everything, they're at the height of their power, especially with Sister Sage and everything, and basically now everyone's having this supremacy, that you want to call it, and everything, and these kids are right in the middle of it, right? And we get into Godolphin recovering from the events of season 1 with that big massacre and everything. One thing we see that this university is building off of with new dean, focusing on again soup supremacy, with Cypher, right? And Cypher, there's a lot of mystery to this character in terms of who he is, because much as he's talking about soups, is he a soup? Is he human? We don't know, right? But he definitely has a agenda going on, and as the Jordan and Emma come back to Godolphin University, basically have a deal, say, hey, come back, but here's your statements. You got, it's a PR move in all the boys' glory of, using social media PR to create the image of what's going on and hiding the reality of what's actually happening. And again, it's very telling just in terms of that, because it's so real in terms of what we're going to today. And I will say this season does a very good job of highlighting the reality of because I think with The Boys season 4 got really heat, where there's common parallels of what was happening, but now part of it is it just good writing, or is it like, oh, it just events are happening in the world today, just coincidentally are happening the same time this show is coming out and stuff. So it's not a
Right.
coincidence. Like, it's like Simpsons level writing. But it's I will say that with this particular season, they do a really good job of having that balance of stuff, that are related to young adults at college campuses, but also the importance of PR and social media and the fakeness of it all, of
Mm-hmm.
people, the fakeness of influencers and stuff like that. And they do a really good job, especially that one scene with that one influencer talking about, like, hey, people want to be told what to do. They don't, they don't want to think for themselves, and that's so real,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, but as we get introduced to other characters, or in terms of where they've been, we see Polaris, which is Andre's father. He's back in the fold, and he's not doing very well. And he's basically, he's still having his seizures and everything, but he's in isolation at his own house. But yeah, what was your thoughts on Polaris in these first 3 episodes?
When it comes to Polaris, it's very interesting because it's like I had a because again, with the absence of Andre, his character definitely had to grow. Like, his character was somewhat growing from where he was in the beginning of the first season to where he was at the end of the first season. But it's like now with his son gone and knowing he's gone, even though he doesn't know how it happened because Dean Cypher and the rest of VOT are keeping that a secret from him. It's very interesting to see like him slowly but surely joining our Gen V crew, especially with Emma, to figure out what had happened and also to get back at, like, he's definitely grown from like somebody that's just like, trying to stay in line, trying to keep his, place within VOTS and within, Godolkin's history, trying to, in a sense, like, have the spots, because it's like, oh, adult black man superhero, it's not much of us here, sort of deal. But it's like now he's doing this for the memory of his son. He's doing this to get back at the system that is hiding that shit and trying to Flanderize it in a certain way. And I definitely think it's interesting just to see where he's going to go, because it's like, these first 3 episodes, he's trying to learn everything he can about Thomas Godolkin and about Project Odessa. And as I said, teaming up with Emma and teaming up with the rest of them to figure out as much as he can so he can get back at them. In the smart way. He wants to do it, the rip the school apart way, but like the smart way is the best way to do it right now.
Yeah, and basically everyone's saying like, I don't want to go back to Godolkin. That's not the, that I'm not safe there. I'm like, no, Godolkin is the safest place there for you. And they're right.
Mm-hmm.
In the moment that it is like you want to go back to solitary confinement or be at, Godolkin and, but still keep the image and stuff. It's like you're just in a different prison, just different limitations,
Mm-hmm.
but it still is a prison, right?
Yeah.
But as we see, Marie, reunited with Emma and Jordan about, all the events that have transpired, you see Jordan definitely is, having some animosity towards Marie because they had issues with the fact that they, left them and everything and don't feel like you abandoned us, right? And I felt it's very warranted, like Jordan and not only protected Marie, but that relationship, they definitely had a romantic, interest in first season.
Mm-hmm.
But that type of, frustration and anger is definitely warranted in the fact that like you left us to rot and stuff. And it's like, no, I can't go back, whatever, because I think the problem was me, right? And it's like, no. And this is about part about being selfish, right? Is thinking that, hey, you think everything is about you, and it's not. And even when it comes to in this season where Marie importance, it becomes more stronger, like, hey, she is a special case, not just a regular bloodbender and everything. There's different layers to how she was even created that we get into about Project Odessa and everything. But yeah, what was your thoughts in terms of like Jordan and Marie's relationship? Definitely, as they rekindle things again, and stuff like that. But it's still, again, the animosity of the abandonment, the fear of abandonment, and how we're coping with trauma, coping with grief, because also our friend died and you had no clue about it. But yeah, what was your thoughts in terms of that dynamic between Jordan and Marie?
I mean, I definitely, as you said, it was very much warranted, like, where each was, because again, Marie left, Jordan was still there with Emma when they lost Andre. So it's like, and as I said, time passed, and not being with each other and having all this trauma and all this baggage and all this time alone, definitely has, in a sense, messed with them both in a terrible way. And again, they're neither of them are wrong, because it's like they have both dealt with their own shit, but at the same time, it's like, how do I say this? It's definitely, as I said, it's warranted. They definitely both are in the right in how they're feeling, because again, a lot has changed. But I definitely think that the dynamic that they had from season one, again, however brief it was in season one, you know, we had time in season one, you know, develop that. But it's like here, it definitely shows that the two of them care for one another. You know, I mean, hell, it even culminates into Jordan's big moment in episode 3. But it's like, you know, it's a relationship that I very much enjoy, because it's like they're honestly able to comfort one another, but at the same time they're able to have these arguments and able to have these discussions about, again, just everything. That it proves that this is a good couple. It proves that this is a good couple, that they're able to deal with both the good and the bad, not just within their lives, but surrounding their lives as well.
Yeah, yeah, and again, I felt that you also get that new, no, not new, but like, I guess issue going on in the relationship between Sam and Emma, because again, just like Sam, what he left, told Emma after he'd been told by Kate, you know, say I don't want to feel anything, and now he just emotionally turned off, and it's somewhat stable, but it's because you're not feeling anything, right? It's almost like a walking lobotomy, almost, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and or temporary lobotomy, I should say. But with Emma and Sam, you know, you definitely see that, you know, riff where she's trying to also figure out like, hey, how, you know, I'm getting big and small again, but because she's also bulimic, or, you know, binging, you know, and stuff like that, and having an eating disorder and all that. And again, that, to me, I thought that writing on that character was so smart in terms of her powers, like even going to powers that Jordan have. Like they did a really good job of highlighting issues that young adults are going through, but do it in a I don't want to say realistic way, because it's with powers, but it's just like, you know, these powers are tied to who these characters are in their, you know, in their character, and who they are as a person. And I just felt they did a really good job of like, okay, you just learned that you do not have to harm yourself to be able to, you know, use your powers. And I think like she's gonna learn more how to control that, along with Marie. You're cutting yourself, you know, like that's another thing that you know, these characters are gonna have to expand on in terms of their powers, but it's tied to a mental thing, you know, that they're all going through. But yeah, but what are just your thoughts on in terms of where Sam and Emma are in their relationship, or lack thereof, I should say, in these first couple episodes?
Yeah. Well, I'll say first, individually, as I brought up in like the non-spoiler review for Emma, it's like she's definitely grown from like the party girl wanting to look good, you know, for social media person, to somebody that is definitely taking Andre's death to heart and trying to grow and also trying to expose and disrupt. And as I also brought up, Sam is definitely trying to, you know, where he was at the end of last season, not feeling anything, trying to basically get those emotions back. We haven't had many scenes, again, within these first 3 episodes. We haven't had many scenes with the two of them together, outside of
Mhm.
one argument that they had, I believe, in episode 2,
Right.
when they ran into each other. But and I don't know if the two of them will ever get back together. It's hard to tell. But I will say that in terms of what we've seen for the both of them, they're both growing in ways that I can definitely see. Emma is definitely getting better, and Sam is on the road to getting better. They need some time for Emma to truly, again, Emma trying to disrupt things in Andre's memory and also trying to get back at Godolkin, and Sam trying to, you know, reconnect with who he is. I mean, hell, even sharing that sweet moment between him and Jordan, you know, and talking about his brother, who we, you know, Golden Boy, who we lost in
Yeah.
the first season, the first episode of the first season, you know, basically just trying to get back to the person that he was, not trying to, again, Emma taking away his feelings in a sense was him just trying to suppress it, but this is him outwardly, verbally, and also physically expressing how everything that he's dealt with from childhood up to where he was last season has affected him. And I think if they keep going in the route that they will, both of these characters will be in much better spots by the time we're done with this season.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. But going to with Sam, there's another character that basically helped him, you know, in terms of, you know, calming down his emotions, which is Kate. Now Kate, again, she's in also a different point in the season where both Kate and Sam were basically, you know, the newest interns for VOT for Homelander, basically doing what they need
Mm-hmm.
to. They were part of locking, you know, getting up all the boys, and you know, getting Frenchie and Kimiko and everything like that. um and now here she is dealing with this season, just like, okay, you brought, Marie and them back and stuff, and then you act like you're all buddy buddy now. It's like, hey, things are better now, we would just, work together. And then she's like, no, fuck
Hell
you.
no.
Like, that's literally what that's literally what they're like saying. And but rightfully so, in terms of what they promoted, like what they all gone through in first season. Like, we trusted you, and on top of that is like, you are also doing terrible things in the midst of, just for the sake of image, under Homelander. It's not based off of fear. You're just thinking that, oh yeah, no, we should be, stronger than the humans and stuff like that, right? And again, going back to that X-Men mentality and stuff like that, and also, not understanding that her mentally abusing, like she meant her brother, Sam's brother, Sam, as well, and just like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna continue to do this and stuff. It's like, no, you basically are a broken individual. And then here we are in this, first three episodes, like, she reconnects with them and stuff, and then she gets left for dead, and some people say rightfully so, and stuff. And then the feeling, the anger of like, you guys left me to die. I'm like, well, that's what you did. And so again, I think there's going to be a topic of forgiveness going on in this season yet. But what's your thoughts just in terms of Kate and her, not only that she got harmed, but she's kind of broken now that her powers don't work effectively anymore. But like, it is just like she is now in a worse state that she'd ever been in before in her life.
With Kate, it's like, look, this character, as I said, similarly with Sam, I felt like if they're going at it the way that I think they're going to go about it for the rest of the season, she could also be on the road to recovery. But I feel like it's much more possible with Sam than with her, because again, she has done so much manipulation. Even before joining VOT, she did so much manipulation with Luke and with Sam and with everybody before, like, being put on a pedestal. And then it's like, in between this season, it's like, you got your friends locked up, you are essentially part of the Seven. Like, you are there with Homelander causing some fucked up shit in the last season, as well as being some of the ones that locked up Kimiko and Frenchie and the main characters from the main series. You are a part of that. And so it's like, now you're trying to act all buddy being like, oh, I did it just to get you guys free. It's like, it doesn't matter. You're still a terrible person. You still did terrible shit to us and to other people. So it's like, I don't think there's really going to be much forgiveness, though I do think that there is the case where they could try to, at the very least, have her understand the consequences of her actions, which could potentially lead to some sort of selfless act as we get to the end of this season. Don't know at this current moment in time, but I will just say it's like, Sam, I see that they could save. Kate, I'm not sure, but I definitely think that she will try to do her best to fix what she broke, in terms of actually showing that she cares about the group, and in terms of Andre, who, again, until Jordan and Emma showed up, she had no clue was dead. So I think she's definitely going to do something. And just for now, we'll have to see where her road goes with the rest of these episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to address terms of the cliffhanger of this first three episodes, the fact of because everyone's acting all kumbaya, and after everything that these characters gone through, like, they cannot be silent. But at the same time, like, when you also had Marie kind of confess to Jordan, like, hey, I love you, and how she also had never had any experience or anything like that before, and like, that was her first. And then for Jordan, again, for someone that feel like they've been on their own, on an emotional level, like they, to have a level of fear of like allowing somebody in to actually care about, and then basically saying, no, it's more easy for me to hate you, be angry at you, than the fear of, of losing you. Right. That's like that mindset, is real, and that is real. Like, why people like, no, you're not just being a jerk to me, you're just like, no, you care about me, but because of my actions and that what I'm doing in this relationship as a friend, as someone that loves you, is like, this is harming me, and it's like, I can't stand the side of like losing you, so I might as well hate you, or be angry at you. But when it kind of comes to that conversation with Sam, it's like, you know what, yeah, appreciate the people that you have, and just say that you love them. And I think to the point where you talk about forgiveness, I think forgiveness is inevitable but it just takes some time, especially for certain people. Like you mentioned, Sam, I think it's more easier, but like with Kate, it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time for that to manifest. But then like we had Jordan come up and basically, on the stage as they are the new, number one and everything, and got everything that they wanted. If you think of the motivation for season one, they got
Right.
everything they wanted, and it's like
Right.
no, it's just to throw it all away, and saying, "Hey guys, no, Andre was killed. This is happening, and all this. We were locked up. We were being told we were in prison, and everything, and you guys need to stand up and fight, and stuff. So they're all screwed, right? And Cypher just like, okay, all right, you want to play that game? Let's go. So, but yeah, what was your thoughts in terms of that cliffhanger of what Jordan said, basically kind of exposing all the secrets and everything on stage, front and center?
That was a crazy ending, but it's going to be curious where they go with it. Because again, it's like you say, oh, they're all screwed. But again, she said, I'm the one that attacked Kate. She didn't say me and my friend. She didn't say me, Marie and Emma. She said just me. So I think she's, again, as like, Jordan, as they said to Marie before getting on stage, is like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I think that was also subtly, it's like, I don't know what the heck's going to happen after I say what I say, but just know that I do care about you. And now going to this, I think Jordan is going to be taking most of the fall and will be the one dealing with most of the consequences, which will lead to Marie, continuing to level up to where she can save them. I think that's where it might go, because it's like, she basically made herself target number one for her to be attacked by, Vought. I definitely see it being the case where it's like, after this, boom, locked up in a prison underneath the school. We're going to send like Sister Sage or Black Noir or hell, even Homelander on her ass, to torture her until she gives any more information about why she did that or anything else that she might know in that case, justice for Kate sort of deal until, more and more truths start to come out. But I think that's where it's going to go, because they took most of the fall.
Yeah, I agree, and I think this is also just the fact of that they blamed it on Starlighters that was being nice to her, like to Marie and everything, and just showing just the reality of the world. Again, this app is exists in our reality. People being falsely accused and stuff of crimes, but then hiding, covering up, and false casualties. It just and people being collateral damage in some sense. It's crazy. But that definitely, I thought they left on a good cliffhanger for these first 3 episodes. And I will say that for the coming episodes, you guys are in for something very interesting as the plot, thickens, especially we get more in terms of Project Odessa and Marie, and also especially Cypher and what his motivations is and everything. So there's a lot of surprises for this upcoming season, and we'll be making sure to give you guys a review every week of each episode. We'll be releasing on Thursday on Prime Video. All right, guys. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.